And that's what I'm excited about is like
Right.
being able to show people I know what this stuff is and I'm
Right.
doing it.
You're not making small talk. I'm not trying to be your friend. I'm trying to, tell you about the product. And so like, I can't just go up to someone and have a conversation because that's something I just don't do.
That's just what psychotic people do.
That's just like people talking to each other. Stop it right now. But I'll tell you all about something I made, or I'll tell you all about something I've done, as long as you're not expecting me to hang out with you after. Welcome to the Dirty Heifers Podcast. Soap making, small business, and so much more. Let's get dirty. Hey, y'all, and welcome back to the Dirty Heifers Podcast, the show where three small business owners tell it like it is, probably overshare, and occasionally make you question your life choices right along with us. I'm your host, Margaret, from Warm and Fuzzy Soapery, where everything is clean, classy, and behind the scenes, just a touch chaotic. And of course, I'm joined by my two favorite heifers. First up, she's standing on the edge of a brand new adventure. Spreadsheets made, checklist in hand, probably overthinking every single detail. She's gearing up for her very first market ever. Everybody say a little prayer for her. It's Shauna. And rounding things out, she's been in the vendor streets. She's seen the good, the bad, and the downright disrespectful. If a market goes sideways, she's already got a story, a theory, and a warning about it. It's Jessie. And y'all, today's episode is about markets, craft shows, and pop-ups, how to find them, how to survive them, and how to figure out if you've actually made money or just paid for a stressful day outside. Because whether you're a seasoned vendor or a first-timer like Shauna, or somebody who's thinking about signing up for a show, there's a lot nobody tells you. But before we get into all of that, we want to give a big thank you to today's sponsor. This episode is sponsored by Lather Soapworks, where handcrafted meets down to earth, and your skin gets treated better than most people treat their small businesses. If you're into high-quality, small batch bath and body products that actually feel good to use, not just look pretty on the shelf, go check them out. You can support a fellow maker and smell amazing while you're doing it, which honestly feels like a win-win. Thanks, Lather Soapwork, for supporting the show. And now, it is time for everyone's favorite segment, the part of the show where we test Jessie's vocabulary and Shauna questions her life choices. It's our Word of the Week. And today's word is very on theme, a little businessy, a little markety, and just tricky enough to cause some problems.
All right, it is spelled Commoditize.
Commoditize.
All right, commoditize.
I've never heard this word before, ever in my life. Is this where you monetize on some commodity cheese?
Commodity cheese.
Commodity cheese. Well, cheese could be a commodity. Would you...
Is commodity cheese like government cheese or something?
Government cheese is commodity cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've heard government cheese. I haven't heard commodity cheese.
You accumulate your government cheese and then you turn around and you sell it, so you monetize on it. That's what commoditize means.
Well, there you go.
All right.
I think that was a pretty good definition.
That is a good definition. It's not the definition, but it's a good one. Let me use it in a sentence.
It is the definition, Heifer.
It's Jessie's definition.
Oh, yes, it's the redneck definition. Shauna tried to explain why you shouldn't commoditize your products at markets, but halfway through the conversation, someone asked her for a discount, and she completely lost her train of thought.
Heifer, are you against government cheese?
Is she against government cheese?
I love cheese, so depends on what the cheese is made of. I don't know.
Well, commoditizing is like taking a distinct product and losing its branding. So like making it generic so that it appeals to everyone. And it really just, then when people buy it, they buy it because of the price, not because of any of the features or anything like that.
It loses its personality.
So basically when you're at a show, you want to do the opposite of commoditize. You want to show off your branding.
Yep.
That's that. You have a redneck word of the week for us?
I have one better. I have a Southernism, and it's a good one.
Those are my
Y'all
favorite.
ready for this, lady?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my
Oh, dear
goodness. Okay, the Southernism is your proof evolution can go in reverse. I like it. I like it. And I'm going to say that it's, somebody who's really, really stupid.
They're dumber than a box of hammers.
Dumber in a box of hammers. I never heard of that one. I've heard box of rocks.
Yeah.
Well, that was a twofer. You got a twofer.
Yeah, dumber in a box of hammers, dumber in a box of rocks. Okay.
There you go.
So today we are talking about markets. And this is really the season, right? The spring going into summer. This is really when season, the markets pick up, your farmers markets, your daily shows, and all those kinds of things. So I figured we could talk about that, especially because Shauna is right on the precipice of attending her first market. The precipice.
The what?
The precipice.
She's about to go do her first market. Shauna.
The precipice.
Is that when you really gotta pee? I mean, somebody,
do you
man,
precipice when you have to pee?
That's when you're pregnant and that baby's just mashing on your bladder.
That was not
gosh.
the word of the week.
We're gonna mark that one.
Oh.
Sorry,
Jesse's definitions.
there's no filter. It just
Comes right on out. Gotcha. Like when you
Verbal
precipice.
diarrhea.
Right. So, Shauna, how are you feeling about possibly going to your first market?
Well, thankfully it's not till October, so I have some time.
Oh, okay. So you have a lot of time to prepare. Okay.
Right, but it's I'm anxious about the booth setup because I know that's what pulls people in.
Mm-hmm.
Like your booth, it's not the product; it's your booth that pulls people in.
Right.
I'm trying. I'm second guessing like what to take.
You'll
thinking
second
about
guess
how
right
much
up
to
until you
take.
get there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how much to take. I don't know how much to make. It's there's a lot going on in my head right now with it.
I can tell you from experience. Now, what is the stats on this festival? Like, what are the numbers it typically brings in?
It's 4 days, and they average about 25,000 people a day.
Okay, so
That's a big one to jump into for your first show.
That's a show right
You know,
there. I don't know if I've ever been to one that big.
We always say, if you're going to go
big or go home.
Go big or go home,
And the booth fee is only like $400.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's expensive.
The one that we go to that we're not doing this year, the booth fee is $250, but it's 1 day. No, maybe it's $225, but it's 1 day only, and there's 50,000 people there every year.
This is like $100 a day.
Right.
So, you've got that. So most of the festivals down here, like I do like 2 a year. I used to do a lot, but since I've gotten into e-commerce and such as that, I've whittled them down. I do 2 main festivals a year. I do the Gingham Tree in Lucedale, and this past Saturday I did the Pine Hill Festival in Wiggins. Okay. And typical medium price for which Pine Hill's technically a 2-day festival. I only just go the second day, is like $100. So Gingham Tree, it's a little bit of a step up because it's a handmade only festival. If you don't make it, you can't bring it.
Oh, that's the one that I do too.
Yeah. So it's a little bit more expensive, but yeah, I mean, if it's 4 days like you said, so that's
It's 4 days.
That's par for the course.
it's huge. Like I said, there's 400 vendors. They say there's like 100,000 people every year. They say, and it's also handmade only.
I'm
They have
assuming
some
that you've
they have some
attended it
people who are-
before.
I've been to it before, yes.
Yeah.
But there's some people who are grandfathered in, I guess, out of the handmade thing. But now the rule is it has to be handmade. So, and we have a friend. The reason we've talked about festivals before, but the reason Brad got all gung ho about this is we actually have a friend who does it. She sews. She says in the first day she'll double her booth fee. So in just one day.
So I was just going to ask you what finally made you decide to sign up, and I guess that's it, the money.
Well, I mean, it's the friend who does it every year, and she was like, "You should really do this with your business." And part of it's also is just that like we need to get out there and network and meet people and be seen.
Yeah,
You do, and that is the best way to get established in your community is these types of events.
right.
Now, I would recommend as far as the soaps. Now, that's all I do is soap. You do lip balms, you do scrubs, you do shower steamers, you do a lot of stuff. You're going to have a great variety. One thing that always does well at festivals for me is making up like these little gift buckets. And you said this is in November. Would you say October, November?
October.
Okay. So people are not quite Christmas shopping yet.
Right.
But even if you do it just for a display, do like some buckets or some baskets or something like that. That'll draw people in. They're not going to buy it because very seldom have I ever actually sold one of those buckets that I build and take to these festivals. But it's a draw. It's something that people will draw people in.
This is an Apple festival, so we're definitely going to have like Apple themed stuff because it'd be stupid not to. And then also pumpkin stuff too. But I was actually thinking, having shelves up right front where people can see with a variety of like paint your own bath bombs, because that's something fairly unique and new here, and I think that something different would draw people in. So it wouldn't necessarily, because I think they would buy that. I might have some sort of sets available, but I think I'm going to focus a lot more on like the paint your own bath, because it's
I would definitely
two activities
focus
in
on
one.
that. Especially because what I found out at my first show that I didn't know, that Jesse told me exactly why afterwards, was I had this wonderful, colorful basket of bath bombs, and at the end of the day, they were all white because the sun bleached them. So if you're doing a paint your own bath bomb thing, they're all white anyway.
Right.
So you're not worried about discoloration, none of that stuff. Yeah.
Make
That's a good
sure
point.
that you put a sign, a really nice eye-catching sign, displaying like this is a paint your own bath bomb kind of thing. Because most people, like down here, they'll walk past that like, what the crap is that? But they're not going to step in and ask.
Right.
Right.
So
well, I
make sure
think
you've
that
got
the
good signage on that.
the packaging, it's pretty obvious that this is paint your own because it's got the
I might
paint and
actually
the
It's
brush.
change the
obvious
packaging.
to us. It's
Right.
obvious to us. It's not
Right.
obvious
I might actually
to
change the
average
packaging a
consumer.
little bit.
Really? I think that packaging is adorable.
It's cute. It's just hard to fit everything into that little tray. So unless I, get different trays, but I was,
Yeah, you can, like those little styrofoam trays, those are good. You get those.
this is actually some sort of paper, like cardboard type tray. But I, holographic bags, I told my husband, like, if I could fit all of that into a holographic bag with the clear front, that would probably attract little kiddos to be like, ooh, what's this? It's shiny.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like fish.
So how, Jesse, I know, like this, obviously, Shauna, you might know the answer to this, but haven't taken advantage of it. But how do you even find the markets in your area?
Well, for me, I already had connections. Yeah, y'all know me and networking and meeting people. I already had the connections. I've got a friend that's on the board for my big one, the gingham tree. And, I had to make the connections with and inquire with the local, like, economic development partnership, whatever you want to call it, in Stone County to figure out how to apply to this. But most of them now, it's a simple Google search.
Yeah.
I mean, legit, it's a simple Google search because most of them have landing pages online.
landing pages, and there's also Facebook groups. I found a lot
Facebook
of stuff
groups.
through this Long Island Vendor Association, and then like all different vendors will post, "Hey, I'm having a show this day. I need this. I need that. Whatever."
Yeah, but
That's
you
a
have
good
to
way
take a
too.
lot of those with a grain of salt. I've done a lot of shows, and I would say 7 out of 10 of them are a bust. Unless it's been well established and it's been going on for a long time, people know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to go and you'll be lucky to make your booth fee back.
I
Right.
can tell you that I have been offered shows before, and the only time I ever set up anything was like at one of the surgeons I work with has a venue, and he would have events there, and he'd be like, "Hey, you want to set up a booth?" He didn't even charge me. I don't know why. It was just a nice thing to do. But the festival I'm going to, very, very well established.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And a lot of the ones that I've been invited to, I was like, I've never even heard of this. It's in like some little conference room in a hotel somewhere. And like,
yeah, those really
I've
aren't
done-
worth it.
No.
I've done schools.
not.
I've done a couple at schools. I've done a couple at like the community center in the neighborhoods, and those are always much, much, much smaller. Still, you could still get some foot traffic or whatever. But we all notice that when you're at the Apple Festival, I don't know if this happens to you, but whenever we do the big show, there are people who market other shows. I come home every time with at least 10 different cards of people asking me to
Yep.
be in another show. And then they'll also take your business card and you'll start to get emails. "Hey, I'm doing this show this day." And they'll put you on their mailing
I
list.
got it. Ladies, I sent y'all a screenshot this morning, I think it was, of a lady that
Oh, yeah.
wanted me to come be a vendor at some literacy festival. I'm like...
Because they
going-
probably heard you do the word of the week. And they said, "She does
We gonna
words. Let's put her
educate
at
her.
let's have her at the literacy festival."
they like your
She
definition.
they said she needs our help. Let's get her in here, and she'll have to pay for a booth, so it's a win-win.
Right.
You know what? Another way to find some, I think, though, if you look at other crafters, like if you go to some of these things and you see crafters and you look them up online, a lot of them will advertise where they're going to be. And that's another way to find other shows in the area. And then you can just
Yeah.
research into whether or not you want to do them.
How do you vet a market before you apply?
We have talked
First
about this
thing-
before, but it's time.
First things first is the price,
Yeah.
what it
Okay.
costs. I would say if it's under $75, no. Because if
Okay.
it's a event worth its salt, they're going to charge you a minimum of $75 to set up.
Well,
So-
that's also going to be dependent on location.
Okay. I was just
So-
thinking
so,
of the
so an event in New York is probably going to be a lot different price than one in
Exactly.
Mississippi,
Exactly.
right? You know,
yeah.
So, in a high traffic area like New York City, I would say, minimum $200.
Yeah.
Does that sound about
Well,
right,
in the
Mark?
city, I've never done one in the city, but you can get some decent ones for 75 to 100. There are a lot, like the farmers markets and stuff. There's a farmers market in my town. And that's another one. Like if I sign up for the farmers market in my town, then I'm guaranteeing like 8 Saturdays in a row. Right. I don't want to lock myself into anything for 8 Saturdays. It's not happening. Right. So,
like, that's my day off. Leave me alone.
but, yeah, the price. So what about when you take into account the psychology of pricing, like what we talked about last week? So you're just immediately, if it's less than $75, it's not worth it to me. So you could take those $50, those people who are running shows that are $50 and be like, maybe I'll pump it up to 75. And so, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if a cheaper
if-
one just bumped it up.
If
just
they are
because of the
using that
psychology.
money to promote the event. See, that's part of the problem is
Exactly.
that they need the money to promote the event. And if it's too little money, then they're not promoting the freaking event, and then it's not worth it for you.
Exactly.
And if they take the money and they promote it and it starts growing, you could be in early on something that gets bigger. So
Exactly.
So the people who run the big one that I would go to is the actual the chamber of commerce. So I'm guessing That's
Those
something,
are
if you check into
typically
your
good
local
shows.
chamber of commerce, you know,
Are they?
Yeah.
yeah, write that down. Chamber
I
of Commerce
am.
is really they're gonna put it, because they're in touch with all the businesses
Right.
in the town.
Yeah, typically those that are put on by a local chamber of commerce or a civic association or something like that are typically good festivals. My big one that I do in Loosedale, it's hosted by the Loosedale Fine Arts Association, and it's typically if it's hosted by something like that, it's going to be a decent show because the price of the show goes to a charitable organization.
Right.
So those are typically good shows. I have done a lot of like, what do you call them, like family day at the farm type things. Like got hay rides and all that kind of such. No.
Yeah. I was just
No.
gonna say, have you ever signed up for something that looked good and absolutely wasn't?
Yeah.
Is that something that you're talking about? Yeah.
Absolutely. It's for me. Now, in other parts of the country, that might be the hot thing. I don't
Right.
know. I can just tell you
If they
about
have a
my
lot of
experience.
vendors.
Right.
Exactly.
If people are going there expecting to see vendors.
And I think that's going to coincide with the price point as well. Because, I mean, if it's worth its grain of salt, they're going to charge for the booth,
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
What was your very first market like, Jesse? Your very first one.
my very first one. Y'all are going to laugh at me. Okay, so my
All right.
very first market was a free one. And it's local to me. It's a rummage sale that they host twice a year. The Ramsey Springs Rummage Sale. Okay. I had like 40 bars of soap made, and I thought that was a lot. And I didn't have any packaging, nothing. I just set them out there. It's a rummage sale, okay?
Yeah.
You've got Joe Blow over here with chickens, and this dude over here's got beagle puppies, and they've got their crap from their garage over there across the way. So not a big deal. But I left there with like $80 in my pocket. When you're making 1 pound loaves at a time, that'll last you for a long time. Because at the time it was just feeding my hobby. It really
Right.
it wasn't a business. But yeah, that was my first experience. I had like a little 4x4 table. I didn't have a canopy. I was out in the sun and just had my soaps laid out on this table, and people came and bought them. So,
Nice.
oh, and
My
they were
first-
even
Start
colored.
somewhere.
They were even colored with food coloring.
Oh no.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
My-
back to the make sure your product is made properly before you
Yeah,
start
right.
selling.
But you know what? That's proof that even, people y'all would consider big soap makers, we have goofed up.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
We've
And
made
you have to start
mistakes.
somewhere,
You gotta
You
start
learn from your
somewhere.
mistakes.
My
You
first
don't,
show.
you don't pour your soap into a Walmart bag.
Yeah.
You don't color it in food coloring.
Hey, y'all know I'm gonna
Listen.
redneck the crap out of stuff.
Yes.
Listen, but you can't sell it because
It's all
it's got
part of
someone
your
else's
charm.
logo on it.
Well, I
My
didn't sell
first-
that. I used it.
Walmart.
It washed the stank off. Okay.
There you go.
It washed Walmart off too. Anyway,
So,
It did.
so my first show was a really small one, and I didn't realize, because I've only ever been to big outdoor shows. This was an indoor show, and this guy approached me. He was like, "Oh, come, do a show with me, blah blah blah, whatever." I'm like, "Sure." I didn't know anything about, marketing the show. I didn't know anything about any of that. So we go to this show, John and I, and we were so over prepared. It was ridiculous. It was in this big like school gymnasium, and they had like a circle of, like you'd circle the entire gym. But for some reason they had me right outside the gym. And I had enough room to set up 2 6-foot tables side by side, and I had, big stands that held all the jars of stuff that I had, the body butters and everything, and like a big stand on this side of the table. It was just a gorgeous display. Way overkill. Like, we took so long setting it up, so long to break it down. And there was very little traffic. When I say maybe 300 people came in the whole day, like that was it. And what I felt terrible for was people came to my booth, and then turned around and walked out and didn't even go to the rest of the show. So I was busy the whole day, but all the people on the inside were like twiddling their thumbs. And then somebody came out and she was like, "Oh, this is your first show? Don't ever do a show with this guy again. He's terrible. He didn't market this at all. I've been sitting here all day. I haven't sold a thing. Nobody's even coming in." I'm like, "Oh, okay. I didn't know any of that."
Whoops.
You live and
But
you
then,
learn.
yeah. And then I went from that show to the one with 50,000 people, which is so like just keeping busy the whole day. You're just constantly.
I love that. Like this past show,
The rush.
I stayed busy. I bet you I didn't sit down a whole hour.
Yeah.
You know, it was just, and 30 minutes of that was me eating lunch. I was up, I was busy, I was talking to customers the whole time and such as that, and you know, I love that kind of stuff. Now, when I got home, I was drained. I took a shower and I went to sleep, and I slept for 9 hours solid.
I know that's
why
going to be me.
I didn't text y'all at all that evening because I was out.
That's going to be me with this, because if there's really like 25,000 people per day for 4 days, but like the end of it, I'm going to be like, "Don't talk to me. Just don't talk to me."
There's a lot of talking. You do a lot of talking and a lot. But the good thing about it is, you know, people are talking to you about your stuff.
Right.
So I could talk about what I make all day long.
Right. And that's what I'm excited about, is like being able to show people I know what this stuff is, and
You're not making small talk. I'm not trying to be your friend. I'm trying to, you know, tell you about the product. And that's, so like, I can't just go up to someone and have a conversation, because that's something I just don't do.
That's just what psychotic people do.
That's just like people talking to each other. Stop it right now. But I'll tell you all about something I made, or I'll tell you all about something I've done, as long as you're not expecting me to hang out with you after.
And here we drug you into our freaking text chain.
Tell me, how has your booth setup changed over time?
Well, it's changed a lot since my little 4 foot by 4 foot table. I've been through. I'm on my 3rd canopy. I've got 4 tables, a shelf, 3 banners, 2 banners and a backdrop. I've got all kinds of stuff. I've now hit the point where when I started off in a Chevrolet Silverado pickup truck, and it got wrecked, and I had to downgrade to an Explorer. And ladies, y'all have seen how packed I can make that thing. Like, it's like Tetris in there.
Yeah.
And now I tell my husband I need his truck, which means I need him to clean his truck, because he's a logger, and now I fill his truck up. So it was funny this past weekend. I told him, I said, "I need your truck again," and he said, "We have got to get you another truck." I said, "Yes, we do."
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. If you're planning on doing, you know, shows and stuff.
You know, you need a
Well,
truck
she needs it for
or
other
a
reasons too
Tahoe
now.
or
So,
something.
How many
Yeah, I
tables do you bring?
I typically take 2 plus a shelving unit. I've got a shelf that collapses, and I take a table and I take that shelf, and you know, this past festival I ran that 5K before it even really started, so my kids actually set up my booth for me, and they did a great job.
Good.
But yeah, I mean, it's not the fanciest setup you'll see at a event by any means, because y'all know me, I'm pretty minimalistic, but it gets the job done.
Yeah. We do 3 tables because, you know, it's the 10 by, typically your booth size is 10 by 10, right? Is that standard
Right.
everywhere?
That's
And
standard.
we do the 3 6-foot tables, and we put them in the shape, you know, like
The
one
U-
thing that you could do beforehand, Shauna, and this is what we did, is we practiced. We set it up.
So once we move into the new house, I told my husband I'm gonna tape off like an area in the basement, and I'm just gonna start playing with configurations and setups and everything, trying to figure out what I want to do.
We just set up the tables in the living room, and we moved the tables around, and we also got branded tablecloths. Like we got those stretched ones that go down and underneath the feet of the table, and that has it says warm and fuzzy soap right across the front.
I don't have that. I have a runner.
Yeah, that's what
I need to update. I need to update it because it's the old style of my logo, but I hadn't done that yet. I would probably, when I upgrade, to the branded tablecloths. But as for the time being, I've just used a runner for that,
right.
And I've got a custom wood sign that's really nice. I need to figure out another. Anyhow, squirrel, my mind's going off. But I've got a really nice custom sign that just totally fits my brand. It's the frame of it's just rustic wood, and the background of it's white, and it's got my big logo in black. And so
and that's what you hang in the back, right?
That's what I hang in the back on zip ties.
Yeah, I don't even have zip ties. I have a line of string, and I have a big canvas sign with the logo on it, and we just tie string and tie it up to the to the corners there, so it just kind of floats in the back.
I did that too, and I've also got a whole backdrop that I use for when I do inside shows. It's got a big frame, and it's got a piece of fabric that just kind of socks over it, and it's actually outdated too, so I need to update it because it's got my whole logo on it.
So where do you get your stuff printed?
My local print shop, Stone County Printing.
She does the backdrops and everything? What about you, Margaret?
John ordered them all, but he ordered, online at what's that? It's a big place that does.
There's so many of them.
Vistaprint. That's where we got ours.
Vistaprint and for imprint, and there's so many of them.
We did Vistaprint. It was quick and came fast, and the price was decent. What is have you ever made any mistakes while you were setting up that you wouldn't make again? Like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I did that. I'm never going to do that again.
Yeah.
I like when she giggles before she says an answer. It makes me pay attention. Something's coming.
2 years ago, so I've got a canopy now, and it's relatively new. It's like 2 years old. The canopy I had before then was a survivor. Bless its heart. It survived the truck wreck, and it was actually in the bed. The truck was totaled after I got home from the gingham tree, and thank goodness I took all my product out of the truck. So the product was in the house. I left the tent and the tables and that kind of such in the bed of the truck under the bed cover. And it survived the wreck. It only sustained minor damage, like one leg got kind of bent a little bit. We straightened it out. And it lasted for another 3 years after that. And but that one festival where it kicked the bucket, I could not get the leg to extend. And I mean, I couldn't beat it out. Nothing. It was not extending. So y'all know me. I totally redneck engineered it. Okay. I took a couple of my totes and I stacked them up on top of one another once I got them emptied up, and I took that leg and I propped it up on top of those totes and I tied it down and we went with it.
All right.
I do not recommend that, but you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes.
Do you bring weights and weigh the all the time?
Yeah, those are redneck engineered too.
I saw it whenever we're in Georgia. I saw it. It's like, why is there a bucket of cement in your back here? Or it looked like an ice cream bucket.
It's 4 ice cream buckets. I went to my local hardware store and I bought 4 big eye hooks. And I bought a couple of bags of Quickcrete, and we mixed it up, and we filled up the little ice cream buckets with Quickcrete, and we set the little eye hooks in the center of each one of them, let it set up, and they've been rolling for
Boom.
4 years.
Whatever works, man. And once the buckets break off of them, you'll still have a freaking cement slab that you can take.
Yeah, my
And
canopy
they're currently busting off.
Yeah, my canopy came with like canvas sandbags.
Yeah.
I filled it with rocks, and I have it's just been whatever. I like it wraps around the whole thing. Whatever. What is something that you thought you needed that you absolutely did not need?
This is good to know.
Bath bombs.
It's always bath bombs with her. Always.
It's Jesse's nemesis. I think the next time we get together, I'm gonna like fill her bed with bath bombs or something just to.
Instead of being spooned and forked, I'm gonna be bombed.
They still smell good.
Jesse's bombed. It has a whole different meaning when you say it.
Well,
we're gonna mark that one.
Okay. So, what was my question? What was something that you needed that you
did not
absolutely
need.
did not need? I don't feel like there's anything that I brought that I didn't need, but there were things that I didn't bring that I could have used, like
in the
tape,
current
scissors.
Do you feel like you still need a decent sized cash drawer in today's markets?
Well, I didn't do a cash drawer. I wear a fanny pack and the cash stays on me.
I mean, cash period is what I meant.
Okay.
I typically will bring anywhere between $400 and $500 in cash. I mean, to be honest, the past 3 shows I have done more card sales than I have cash sales. So I don't feel like cash is as necessary nowadays,
right?
Because most people's going to pay with a card, and that's actually a deal breaker with most customers is whether or not you can take a card. But I still, just in case, I'll take $400 to $500 in change with me.
Yeah, I take 200 in singles and then about 150 in fives and then a bunch of tens.
I do 100. I do 100 in singles. I do 100 in fives. I do 200 in tens, and I'll typically do 200 in 20s. It's typically what I do.
So if you just do a straight fanny pack?
Yeah, I just do a straight fanny pack and keep it right on me at all times. Because I don't want to put it down and have somebody walk away with it.
Yeah, I was thinking of like a crossbody or something.
I do I've got a money bag that I keep on me or right by me, or somebody like my mom or somebody that I'll keep it like at their feet or something or other like that. But I mean, I'll typically keep like $100 and change in my pocket, and I've got a super fancy money clip, like custom order.
Yeah, I've seen your money clip.
Fancy.
I've seen your money clip.
Is it rubber bands?
It's an alligator.
No, it's a binder. It's a binder clip, is what it is. Those big black binder clips. That's her fancy clip. Yeah,
I keep in my bag. I keep just the change that I'm about to give out, and then I also have one of those pens that you can mark like 50s and 100s with to see if they're counterfeit.
I've never had one of those.
That's not a bad idea, though.
I've never come across
it. It's not
it.
a bad idea.
But I have it because that's the kind of place that people will do that crap in.
Part of the reason I'm bringing this up is because you mentioned it before, Margaret, when you were editing the episode. You guys talked about how sometimes you don't have internet or cell phone at these shows, and you have to figure out how to take card payments. So I really started doing like a deep dive into that, and I think what I'm going to end up doing is getting a Stripe terminal. It's
swipe?
like one of those. It's one of those handheld things, and you actually it links to your website, so it has all the product in there, so you can actually pull up the product and put it in the cart, and then charge them, and it could be offline for like up to 24 hours.
Okay.
And then you just link it back up to your site, and it syncs.
Well, that was another thing that I was going to ask you about. Go ahead.
Because you were talking about how you go to the shows, and then you have to go reconcile your inventory. And I'm like, this is a 4-day show. I'm not going to freaking reconcile my inventory every 4 days. for their days. So,
And,
but if I, they say the Verizon works best, and that's what I have. But even so, the point of sale on WooCommerce is kind of clunky. It's slow. Even with good internet, it's slow trying to pull up everything and create an order. So
Yeah.
this sounds like it'll be faster and more reliable. I hope.
and see, that's what's so weird to me, because I live in a rural part of the U.S.
Yeah.
And I've never had issues with not having cell service.
Yeah, it happens all the time. All the
So,
time.
it's funny. So
The
Margaret
first
has been-
time that we were at a show and it happened, we panicked because like, what are we going to do? And that's when I was like, oh, John turned around and he's like, he downloaded on his phone. He was able to download a thing where he'll manually put in every credit card. And that's what he does.
Yeah. Well,
We
now
don't
they have tap to
swipe
pay on
anything.
phones a lot now, but
I can't
and I've
get
done the
mine
tap
to
to pay on the
work.
phone. I've done that
cannot
before. It's
get mine
actually
to
really
work.
fun. But the house I currently live in, Margaret's been to it. It's in a neighborhood surrounded by houses, but it's in a little valley, so our cell signal here sucks.
Well, see, that's
but
the
the house
thing.
we're-
Where I
the
live,
house we're-
it's flat.
The house we're moving to is on the side of a mountain, and it's more rural than where I am now, and the cell signal is amazing. It's like, this is so backwards to us, but what are you gonna do?
So, let's see. Have you ever had a complete setup just fail? Like it was windy and your tent blew away, or the weather or rained, or you forgot something super important.
Yeah.
Here she goes again.
I did it's like a farmer's market kind of thing in a community close to me called McHenry. And it's right on a major highway, Highway 49. It's a divided highway. Lots of traffic and lots of wind as well. So my very first tent that I used was actually my dad's tent. And yeah, it didn't survive. It completely boom. I mean, it
Just
blew up?
it just didn't make it at all. It
Dad, I'm sorry
imploded
to
on
tell you.
itself. Yeah, I was like, Dad,
Oh,
I kind of broke your tent. And he said, baby, I done went and bought another one. Don't worry about it. He said, I don't want. He said, don't buy me one, and I don't want that one back. Just put it in a dumpster somewhere. So I said, okay.
Now,
That's
the big one that I would go to is around a lake, right? And you get to pick. You don't get to pick what your spot is because there was 300 different vendors, but you get to pick your area. You could be at the top of the lake, you could be at the bottom of the lake, you could be at the side, whatever. And the first couple of years, we picked like where we thought it would be the busiest based on our foot traffic from going to this before. And what I didn't realize was it's in the dirt at the bottom of the lake, and it's mud. Right.
I don't know.
So the day of the show, we're standing there and I'm standing in mud the whole day, which whatever, who cares? But people couldn't push their strollers through. And I'm like, ugh, next year I'm not doing this spot. And so the last year we went up to the top of the lake, not mud, but it was a really dry day and windy, and everything got covered in dust, like thick dirt dust. Like we had our candles out and people were like, oh, let me smell your candle. And then I get home and I'm like, why are the tops of all the candles were black from the dust coming up? I'm like, and now I have to clean everything. We had to do so many soaps that we had to unwrap and rewrap because, we used the white paper and it was just gross and ugh. So that I was not thrilled with.
You guys are making me really look forward to this.
Well, outdoor events are tough.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I mean, I do it again every single year because it's worth it. At least that show is worth it.
So that's another thing is that this has indoor spots and outdoor spots, but there are no indoor spots left. Number one, because it's my first year here and probably most of them are claimed. But number two, we just decided like a couple of weeks ago we were actually going to do this. And the deadline is like in a couple of weeks. So I did put myself on a wait list. So there's a possibility I could get an indoor spot, probably low on the list.
So now think about this though. When you're there as an attendee, do you go inside? Or do you just go outside, look around, and then leave? Because, being
I have gone
inside
inside,
would be nice on a day when the weather's not so great, but,
but
sometimes
when
people
the
might not
weather's
even,
pretty-
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So that's the thing. It's like,
So if you get it outside, you're still in the tent anyway. And it's
Right.
not like you need the electricity. Some people need the electricity they have to be inside, or they have to have some kind of,
Right.
whatever. You don't need that. What about signage for your booth? Do you put up price signs and all that kind of stuff? You don't. I do.
I'm going to.
Yeah.
I'm going to.
Yes and no. This past event, I did have signage up because my kids put it up. They found, I've got a tote, a big tote that has all of my regular. I take to every market. Nothing gets taken out. Everything stays in. Other than my tablecloths, I take them out and I wash them. But like I forgot I even had these. There's like these little blackboard signs.
Oh, that's what I do.
I had a pack, and I had a little pack of the marker chalk pen things.
Yeah.
Didn't even know I had them. I told the kids, we got the tent put up this past Saturday, and we got the sign up, and we got all the tables set up and the shelf set up, and it was getting close to being time for the 5K. I said, I've got to go warm up and hit my pre-workout, go to the bathroom, and all this kind of such. I said, y'all been to enough of my events. Y'all set up my booth. And they found the little signs, and they priced everything, and, which I'd already sent them a price list on their phones. So, yes, this past event, I did have signage, but typically, no, because my theory behind it is, I want to interact with the customer, and part of that interaction is the price.
Right.
And so that's one way I talk to the customer is, what's the price on all this,
looking at the psychology, like if I didn't see prices, I wouldn't ask. I'd just keep walking.
I wouldn't ask. I would keep walking, which is why I have
see,
prices on all of my stuff.
That's the difference in areas, though. Like down
Right.
where I'm at, people are talk.
Friendly. Well, I'm from New York. You don't talk to each other. Don't get me wrong. We do. I apologize to all my New Yorkers out there. You're not all like me. So I also feel uncomfortable talking about price. That's like a no-no. Like, I just don't even want to talk about it. It's on the sign. That's how much it is. There's no negotiating. There's no haggling. I also do show specials.
I don't negotiate.
Where if it's $10 a bar, we might do, 3 for $25 a show special, something like that.
Right.
How about other things to pull people in? Do you have any kind of visuals or?
I plan on the signage. I plan on having something up front to attract attention.
Mm-hmm.
There's another idea that my husband is working on that I'm not sure how it's going to work out.
Let's hear it. What is it?
I'm not going to say what
You're
it
not
is
sharing it yet?
now.
So I do this. This is a new one that I do. And it's the, spin the wheel. And you can only, and I got it. It works with like the chalk markers or whatever. But since I have the silhouette cricket, whatever, I just wrote all the different things on it. And I won't spin it because it's going to make Jesse crazy. But you only get to spin the wheel if you purchase something because, I do like 25% off or 10% off or, and I made little samples for the show, like sugar scrub sample or body butter sample or whatever, and or lip balm or something like that. So, and you can only spin the wheel so people see this and they're like, oh, what's that? Is that a game? What are we doing in there? And then they come in and they want to spin the wheel.
That's actually a really good idea. I may steal that for my next show.
I got it on Amazon. It was like $15, something like that.
Like
ridiculous. And you can use it with the chalk markers too.
The thing we're thinking about is something, number one, that will make kids want to come in just because kids will drag their parents in. But
they do. Kids will drag the parents in and they'll smell everything. And then the parents wind up buying stuff that their kids wipe their noses all over.
So something to attract kids and bring them in. But nasally molest the soap. But also we can add little prizes and they're like, 25% off your order or whatever. Oh my gosh, here we go again. Sorry, I'm behind. Anyway. I'm getting left out again.
Did you see the new left out graphic?
No.
Oh, don't
Oh,
say anything
no.
then. You need to go watch today's show.
Oh.
Can you tell we don't watch our own episodes? Because we were there.
We were there.
We were there.
We were there when it happened.
We watch
but
it, and then I
Margaret
edit
has
it, and I watch, and I watch, and I see
Margaret
it like
has
4
a lot
times.
of fun with adding graphics in.
I do.
notice.
Sometimes.
When I do watch it, I'm like,
if I have a lot of time, like if my classes are being good, or if I get to finish all of my stuff, and I have time on my lunch, whatever, I'll, let me make a graphic for that. This came up 3 times. Let me make a graphic for it.
Anyway, so this is an idea to attract people in, but also like attract kids in, but also it'll have things like maybe 20% off your order, or a free soap or something like that in there as well. But we're going to end up investing. The booth fee is $400. We're going to end up investing a lot of money into all the stuff for the booth, with the idea that it's a one-time investment going forward. Yeah. We're going to be using it for other things, and it's a huge show, so that makes me feel better about it. So at least get some return on it. But the other show that I have a goal for is even bigger than this one. So
good for you. Good for you. She's got goals.
Make it work.
Investing
in the booth is a big.
Yeah, there's another really big show around
here in my
area. But it's the same. It's the same day as the gingham tree.
Oh.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's the problem, because you're limited to the weekends for the shows.
Right.
There's going to be big ones that fall.
Well, that's another. Brad was saying, "Oh, there's this other one in Maryland," and I'm like, "Wait a minute. If you go to a different state, is there something else you have to?" Because I was very confused.
Well, if you go into a different state, then you've got to count your hotel fees or your travel time and all that kind of stuff as well.
Well, I was worried about taxes. Like, do you have to charge? Like, if I go down to a different state, do you have to charge tax, even though I have no business entity? And I don't think you do. But anyway, it was just very confusing. But it's that
She's
weekend.
So straight. She's such a rule follower.
It's because I don't want to get freaking audited. Thank you very much. Anyway, the weekend that event was going, he's like, "There's this other good one that she says is really great, blah, 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 blah." And I was like, okay, well, geez, I don't want to do 3 weekends in October. I have to work at some point, right?
Yeah.
But then I look it up, and that weekend overlaps with the one that's 2 weekends. Just burp again.
I think you're the only one that can hear it.
I have burp bar.
I can't hear Jack. Did you burp again, Margaret?
Right when I was talking, here is burp.
And y'all grumble at me when I burp. But I mean, I do it right in the mic so y'all can hear
Yeah,
it.
you do it loud and obnoxiously.
It doesn't actually it just comes to here and stops. It doesn't come out.
She's keeping her mouth closed. You just hear her gurgle.
Yeah.
There's more room out than in, Margaret.
That's true.
Okay.
That's what I say when patients fart. They're like, "Oh, excuse me, better out than in." Whatever.
Mm-hmm. But that's another thing, like, go ahead.
I mean, they ain't no telling how many farts Shauna's heard.
Yeah, right.
Between being a CNA and an anesthesiologist, just.
How about people at the markets? What is the most annoying type of customer you've met at a market?
The card taker.
The card taker. They just take your card and they don't want anything else. Let me see your card.
They like.
So the visual.
They don't speak to you.
They just
don't
creep
look
in and
at
take your
you.
card.
They just creep in, they take your card, and they leave. I'm like,
That's
bye.
Margaret.
Well, I will go up to a booth if as a customer, and if the people start talking to me, like if I'm looking around, because I will go to every single soap booth at a market because I want to see what they're doing and whatever. And if they start talking to me, I'm not, if I'm buying their stuff, great. If I'm not buying anything, I feel guilty. So I'm like, oh, let me have your card. I'll ask for their card just because I feel guilty because I'm not buying anything. And I have no intention on buying anything.
See, I go up to these soap booths at these festivals, and I introduce myself, and I talk, and we talk shop, and I always like, hey, do you want to do a soap swap? And they're always like, yeah, and, we'll do a soap swap. And I was the only soap vendor that I know of at this past festival. I didn't see any other soap vendors.
Well, that's good.
I'm
You
sure
get
there
the
will
most
be
traffic.
more at the one I'm going to, but I'm not sure I'm going to have the time to go find them and talk to them. Because
You
also, I'm not
you
sure
just don't want to go talk to them.
Well, no, I'm also thinking like,
Yeah,
I'm not sure
I've
if my
never
husband
had
will know how
time.
to. I don't know if my husband will know how to ring up an order, or he can sell, like we've said, he could sell anything
yes.
to anybody, but he
You
can't
show it
answer
to
the
him
questions
once.
I can.
No, maybe not. A lot of people don't even ask questions. They'll come over and, I'll take this. They want to smell it. That's it. They just want to smell it and go. But I'm thinking about all the different types of people, right? So you have
That's what she said.
the you have the person who you said takes the cards. How about the hoverer who touches everything? They got to touch everything. Touch it.
That's
smell
every
it,
customer that
touch
comes
it.
through
Every
my
customer.
booth.
I touch everything. I am that person. How about
So you're the annoying person.
you've got the I can make this cheaper.
So she grabs the card, she sniffs it and touches everything.
And then I leave without buying anything because I'm cheap. How about you ever get someone that says they can make it better, cheaper?
Probably.
I can make this
Oh,
cheaper
yeah.
than you.
I tell them, say, well,
They're fun.
good for you.
Go right ahead. Have fun. Have at it, my friend. Go ahead.
I had an old man come by my booth after I helped him get down off the curb. He was on a walking stick, and he said, "How much are your soaps?" I said, I told him, I said, they're $8 a bar, and you just swore that I cut his throat.
Ugh.
I'm like, dude, this is not Walmart soap. This is legit
Yeah,
real soap, and
this is
I
good
don't
stuff.
get a break. I don't get the prices that some of these other companies get.
Well, it's also kind of funny. I was just talking to one of my colleagues today about how things never turn out the way you think. So people who are like, I can make it cheaper, good luck with that. Once you buy all the ingredients, it's not so much cheaper, especially if you're not making the size batches we are. And the people are like, they go up to the sewist and they're like, I can make that cheaper. It's like, yeah, but you know how long it's going to take you to figure it out that first time and get it right? And my colleague, he was painting, and he's like, his wife thought, oh, all right, this is a real quick, easy weekend project. And he was like, we got about a third of the way through this weekend. Mm-hmm. I came from a very DIY family. I know that things take about 3 times as long as you think they're going to.
Yep. Have you ever, you just said that guy said he was, looked like you, blah, 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 like that you slit his throat when you gave him the prices. Have you ever had somebody insult your prices to your face?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I just smile and thank you for your time. Kill them with kindness.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's
just not your customer.
It's just
Exactly.
not your customer.
What's the weirdest interaction that you've had?
I was just thinking how funny it would be like if someone insulted your prices and then came back and bought them afterward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paid them anyway.
What'd you say, Margaret?
I said, what's the weirdest interaction that you've had?
I had a guy come up to me and ask me about soap, making soap, and yada, 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 and he legit looked me straight in my face. He said, can I have your recipe? I said, no. He said, well, can I buy your recipe? I told him, I said, you ain't got that kind of money.
Nice.
And he left.
Well, I bet he talked about you.
Nice.
He
Can
probably
you
did. Go
believe
ahead.
she wouldn't give me her recipe? I mean, my gosh, people are so freaking entitled. Anyway.
My weirdest interaction was when somebody wanted to spin that wheel that I just showed you, and they insisted, like, no, let me spin the wheel. Come on, I got to spin the wheel. Let me spin the wheel. Let me spin, like, you got to buy something to spin the wheel. And he was like, just let me spin the wheel. I'm like, okay. And he got 25% off. I'm like, okay.
Now you gotta buy some.
You got to buy something to use the 25% off. He was like,
Did he walk away?
No, he actually bought something.
Oh, good.
Then I was like, okay. Yeah.
Did he have to spin the wheel again after he bought it?
No, because he got to see. I was actually hesitant to put 25% off on the thing because I'm already given a pretty good deal with the buy 2 get 1 half price, whatever. What about other vendors? what are your best and worst experiences with other vendors? Because I didn't think twice that you'd even be talking to the people next to you. My best experience would be one time we were at an event that kind of went later in the evening, and I needed lights. I didn't know that I would need lights, and a guy next door to me lent me a hanging light on his thing. That was pretty cool.
Oh,
Told me
that's
where he
nice.
bought it and everything. So now I have lights.
That's a good point. I was thinking
That's
about
one
putting
thing
lights in the
I've
booth,
never
but now
fooled
I'm like,
with.
shoot, I do need lights.
Only if your day ends when it's daylight, it's no big deal. But
Yeah.
we were doing it,
These
but
are-
it's October, so you never know.
Yeah.
And this was like,
I think Saturday goes to like 8 p.m. or something.
okay, so we have these hanging lights. You charge them beforehand. You can just hang it right at the top of the tent. They're pretty bright too.
So my first year at the Pine Hill Festival, there was a lady like in the booth next to me, and she did car freshies, and she was a hoot. Oh, that lady was full of crap, and she had a cooler full of beer, and she was trying to give me beer, and she was totally trying to get me drunk. I don't know what her intentions were, but I had kept having to say, no, I'm good. I don't want anything, yada, yada, yada. But that lady, and she, for the next 2 years, she requested to be next to me. We just,
That's fun.
we made buddies, even though I wasn't drinking,
Right.
But she was just cool. She was funny. Her name's Shannon. She's a mess. I ain't seen her in a few years. I wonder what's going on with her.
That's funny.
What about
But
negative
yeah,
ones?
I haven't had any negative.
Yeah, I
vendor
haven't really had any negative ones either.
I saw a post, it wasn't mine, but I saw a post just recently. Someone said they were at a market and they had their designated space, and the person next to them was saying, hey, can you move your stuff over 2 feet? I need an aisle for people to walk through here. And you're like, this is
No.
my booth space. Like,
Yeah.
she's like, is this something normal for people to ask? And everybody's like, she's trying to take your booth space too. If she wants an aisle, she has to build it into her own,
Yeah, you got to move your table in, and then you can have an aisle.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
Exactly.
The worst thing is like sometimes in some booths like will butt up against a fence, or they'll butt up against, like they would butt up against the lake, so people aren't walking behind. But then there are other booths that like the front and the back were open, and people would use their booths as a cut through. And that I find to be rude. Like, don't just walk around. Don't just.
That's like an etiquette thing, because I know that like in campgrounds, you're not supposed to cut through someone else's camping spot. People do it all the time anyway. But like, seriously, to walk right through there, right through the tent, just because I don't want to get through. Here. Okay. I think at this event there'll be tents back to back a lot, or they'll be up against a wall, a building or something.
Right.
So
The back-to-back ones are pretty good.
Yeah. I don't care for that setup.
Well, that's not one that I would pick, but
right, but it happens.
yeah, but it happens. Yeah.
I could just imagine though, like, stop intruding in my booth space. Go away.
Well, that's when you put your wall on in the middle. At least that's what I would do. How about, what do you consider a successful market financially?
At least 4 times your booth fee minimum.
That's what, yeah. 4 times your booth fee. Okay.
Yeah.
Because
That's
we
a good
watched,
solid number.
before our very first show, we watched a ton of YouTube videos, how to set up your table, how to do this, how to do it, whatever. And a bunch of them said 10 times your booth fee. And when we, at that very first one that was $50, that maybe had 300 people there, Joe, we went home and John was like, that was ridiculous. We didn't make 10 times our booth fee. I'm like, there wasn't enough people there to make 10 times our booth fee. Like, it's not happening. So anytime we make less than 10 times our booth fee, I feel a little disappointed, even though I know that that's not realistic.
It's not. I've done that a couple of times. I will typically do that at the Gingham Tree, but I mean, that's not a normal, I wouldn't think.
Right. No. Although at the big shows, you'll make really close to it.
Oh yeah. But
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to pay for all the stuff that we're gonna have to buy to set up our freaking.
Right,
But like
again,
I said,
it's a one-time
investment.
thing.
it's
Yeah,
a
it's a
one-time
one-time thing.
investment, right?
Although not
Yeah.
really, because I just sold all of my tables and everything at Facebook Marketplace, so because I didn't feel like moving them
Tables are
across
easy
the
to replace,
country.
though.
Yeah,
Go to
those are
BJ's
like
or
what,
Sam's Club or something.
$70 on at Walmart or something like that.
Yeah.
If that. So
Yeah.
Have you ever taken a loss?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You have?
I think anybody who's done a lot of markets has, haven't they?
I've taken a loss at regular like retail events, like I was talking about, like at farmers market. Well, not farmers market, but like the family farm hayride type thing. I've taken losses there. I took a loss. I drove 5 hours to Oxford, Alabama, for an event, and yeah, I almost broke even with travel expense and everything, but so no, it was a loss. I have yet to do a actual trade show where I've at least made my money back.
How many trade shows have you done?
done
Before
2.
you do that, explain to people what the difference between a trade show and a market are.
Okay, so like a regular retail market, it's open air, or it's in a coliseum, a building, something like that, and it's open to the general public. Okay, so like anybody could go. You might have to pay a walk-in fee, you might not, but just anybody off the street can go to one of those and buy product. A trade show is where it's business to business. You have to have a registered business to be able to go in these types of events, and it's typically no cash, no carry. You take orders and deliver later, and it's strictly business to business, so it's wholesale markets is what it is.
And the entry fee for those are usually way more
Expensive.
more expensive than
like $800 plus.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so now back to my question, which I forgot what it was. How many
How many have you done?
Yeah.
I've done 2 of the trade shows, and they weren't worth it for me. Just not my kind of thing. I
But wasn't the goal to be
didn't do
picked
well
up
with those.
by a big name business, right? Is that
It was, but I just did not. I did not get that connection. So it is what it is. But you just, I don't know. It just didn't.
I'm
work
just
for
wondering
me.
if one of those like services that that contacts you every once in a while. I wonder if those work better than going to a trade show.
Well, I feel like if at a trade show you're also getting the opportunity to, show off like your white label
Well, see,
stuff
at that
as well.
time, I wasn't doing private label. So,
Right, private label, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
How about red flags at markets? What are immediate red flags when you're applying for a market?
To be honest, the ones that reach out to me are red flags.
Real? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even the
if
ones like
it's-
if they come up to you and they're at an event and they come around just
Yeah, no, those are red flags. They're really trying to drum up business, something awful. If it's a really good market, they don't really have to poach for vendors.
All right.
That's true. That's true. Mine would be, and usually you can't tell this until it's too late, having too many of the same, like, well, one year
Yes.
there were 8 soap makers at the
There-
event. And yeah, there was 50,000
there's-
people there and there's enough to go around, but that's
Well,
kind
it
of pushing
depends
it.
on how they. It depends on how they space them out.
Well,
And
yeah, they
I
spaced
have
them out
done-
pretty well.
There's one event that people ask me every year if I'm going to be a vendor at, and I tell them no.
Because
There's one that it just put a bad taste in my mouth. I'm not going to call it out here on the show, but it's somewhat local to me. It's about an hour from me, and it's a big show. It's huge. It's an all week. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday type event. It's big, and at this particular year that I was a vendor at their show, ladies, very seldom do I miss church. It's just if we can make it, we do. So I when I signed up for this event, I told them up front, and it was a juried event. I said, look, I'm not going to be set up on Sunday. I'm going to be home. I'm going to be on my church pew on Sunday morning. So
what is a juried event again? Can you explain that to everybody?
A juried event is one where you have to apply to be a vendor at it. So you fill out a form, you send in pictures of your booth set up, links to your socials and your website if you have one, and they will go and look at you and see if you're the type of vendor that they want to have at their show. So it's not like just you pay a fee and you're in. It's they're gonna decide if they want you or not. But so I told them, I said, look, I'm not gonna be here on Sunday. Ain't gonna happen. And so I went and I set up. I was there on Friday. I was there on Saturday. I didn't make nothing, but there was a soap vendor 2 booths down from me and one directly behind me. And I shut down and I was packing up, and they were mad at me because I was shutting down. I said, it's not like I didn't tell y'all this. And they told me, said, well, we'll have a church service here in the morning. I said, I understand that. I said, good for y'all. I said, but I'm going to be on my church pew tomorrow morning. That's how it's going to be. And I refused to be a vendor there.
They had church service at the event?
It's Mississippi. Come on.
Right. Okay.
This event, I don't know if you can call it juried or not. They didn't ask for a booth setup picture or anything, but they did.
No, they didn't ask for booth setups at all.
I had to fill out a form, and I had to tell them what I sell and send it. Well, the initial email, they say, tell us what you sell and send pictures. And so I sent them pictures, and I sent them my website, and I told them I'm on social media too. And then they sent me an application form. And I was just looking. It does require like a tax ID number and everything too. So sounds like a pretty legitimate event to me.
Yeah.
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 I don't know if I would call that juried or not. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, no, that sounds juried. That sounds like it. Have you ever done a show that was just plain badly organized? I mean, that sounds pretty terrible if there's a soap vendor, like 3 just right next to each other. Like that just sounds ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
You ever get a washout from the weather?
Y'all, this is going to sound so weird, but the one show where the weather was just absolutely horrible. I'm talking, it was raining, sleeting, cold, miserable. I made bank at. I had an enclosed booth. I had walls where people could come in out the weather. And while they were in there, they shopped.
Okay.
And I've never had a washout due to weather.
So you would recommend having curtains for the front too, so you can at least drape them down?
Yeah. I've never actually...
Yes.
Well, I guess they're in my tent bag. They were probably there, the walls and stuff. What product do you have that sells at markets no matter what?
Soaps.
Well, that's all you sell, right? Well, in the beginning, I'm talking about I'm now, yes, but in the beginning, when you had a variety of products, it was all just the soaps.
My bar soaps have always sold. Always.
Yeah. My bar soaps attract people in, because they're so... I unwrap one of each bar and I have it sitting there on the front. And they see the colors and you can smell as you're walking by. So they pull people in. But I don't know that... I mean, obviously it's the best-selling product. But the lip balms, because I have so many varieties, that's also a big seller too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we said something about that before on the shows, like having small ticket items too. Have some little something they can grab, little something that's useful, and then while they're in there, they're like, "Hey, while I'm here."
Do you have something that you love that just never sells?
My hand soap does not sell well at these festivals.
The liquid,
And
you mean?
yeah, yeah, it does not sell well.
I wonder if it's
I would
because they can't
say,
smell it because it's in a
oh
jar.
no. We'll open it up and they can smell it.
Okay.
But I mean, people know me for my bar soaps. That's what people buy.
I can honestly say, going to a craft show like that, I don't think that liquid soap would be something that, to me, feels crafty in a way. Even if you are making it from scratch from paste, and I know that, it's just not the same as bar soap in my head. So I can see that.
It just it feels commercially. I get it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's probably why. But I mean, it does. I mean, I do sell some, but it just doesn't sell like my bar soaps.
Right.
And the dish soaps are picking up traffic. They sell decently well.
Oh yeah.
At my last, the dish soap set sells like crazy at the shows.
Yeah, I plan on taking a lot of those.
Yeah. Now, I have a lot of people that will come in and buy the dish soap for laundry sticks.
Okay. Yeah.
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 Nice. Do you have any products that either flop in person but do well online, or vice versa? Like, I can't sell bath bombs online. It just doesn't sell. But in person, people love them.
It's pretty well the same across the board for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the
All
hand wash and the body wash and all that, they sell, but not like the bar soaps.
Okay, so what you gonna say?
No,
something?
I was just thinking, I have always made bath truffles as well, but people don't know what those are. And I
Right.
think those would probably sell better in person if they could
Because-
see the packaging and I could explain it to them.
Mm-hmm.
But
Definitely.
I'm not entirely certain if I'm going to continue making it or not. You know what I mean? So it's like, they're great products. It's just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got to pare down my product list. It's just too much right now.
It's a lot. But it's nice when you have a big variety at a show because people like, they
want to
have
shop.
something to look at.
Yeah.
What are your
Yeah,
top
it's
3
something to look
must-bring items for any market?
Are we talking product or
Co-
others?
Mercedes, Coke?
Specifically for me, I have to have lots of coastal drift. I have to have lots of toes in the sand. I have to have lots of goodness gracious sunshine. I
Okay.
have to have lots of those because
Yeah.
those sell.
For me, lavender sells like crazy. Sharp Dressed Man sells like crazy. I'm thinking more like, what are things that you don't think of? Like tape, scissors,
Oh,
a knife, maybe, food to
Well, yeah.
eat, drinks. Like I bring a little
Yeah.
cooler, and then
I do
again, mine's
too.
in the summertime, so you might not need a cooler in October, but
Oh, I'm still going to take one. Because
I bring.
if it's that busy and you're going to be talking all day long, I'm going to need some freaking water.
Here's something that saved me and saved a lot of other people. I brought rolls of toilet paper last time because it's 50,000 people and it's porta potties. And by the time I have 5 seconds to go to the bathroom, if there's no toilet paper, I might rip someone's face off. So I bring my own. Like I literally will stand there online with a roll of toilet paper and people will come out and be like, there's no toilet paper left.
Margaret's like, I don't have any.
Let me go first and you can here. Let me go.
Yeah.
But that's a roll of paper towels and garbage bags. Bring garbage bags because,
Yeah.
you want to clean up all your mess. That's some stuff
Yeah.
that,
I don't necessarily bring garbage bags, but I make sure I've got a Walmart bag. And,
Yeah.
Zip ties, a knife, which y'all know me. I've always got a knife. I actually have like a small tool set. Y'all know me. I'm prepared. It's
Right.
got a hammer. It's got pliers. It's got an adjustable end wrench, crescent wrench. It's got a little bit of everything in it. Screwdrivers. You never know when you're going to need something like that.
Right.
what's your best tip for increasing sales at a booth?
Don't sit on your butt. Get up and get moving. People like to go to a busy booth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
then-
mean, I've been places before too where like you walk in there and they don't even greet you and they're like looking at their
Yeah.
phone and
Yeah.
Don't be like that. I'm
No.
not going to buy from you if you like that.
Yeah. But at the same time, I'm not there to see. You're not there to entertain me, and I don't really want to talk to you, but I want to know about your products.
Well, you can at least say, "Hey, welcome. If you have any questions, let me know."
Yeah,
At least say that, right?
My
What do you do?
icebreaker thing, when somebody walks into my booth, I'm always like, hey, what types of smells do you like? Do you like earthy smells? Do you like floral smells? Do you like sweet smells? And y'all know me, I'm going to get them talking.
I'll go, oh, I'm just looking.
There's not much of that down here. You would be an oddity.
I am an oddity here, too. What do you do when it's really slow?
Dance. I'm just kidding.
That's when I take my time to go to the bathroom, or I very rarely get a chance to, because it's so many people to walk around and see the other booths. I don't have much time to do that. So if it's really slow, I hand the money thing off to John and take a hike to the bathroom.
Take a hike.
Do you guys have a lot of like craft soda places around where you are? Because that's huge up here. Like
what?
A what?
A what?
Craft soda, like cream
like
soda,
that soda
and
that was
sarsaparilla and root
No.
beers. That's big
I saw
around
that
here.
place right where you is an opening up right by you when we were driving by your house.
The soda place.
There's
Yeah.
y'all, we missed it. In Cartersville, there's a place like that. I saw it on TikTok
Oh, no.
when we got home.
Yeah, this is a dirty soda place called Great and Grace. But what I'm talking about is that one of the vendors that always goes to this particular festival, it has craft soda dispensers, and you buy like a souvenir mug. And when we were there last time, we bought souvenir mugs, and I guess you pay a certain amount for it, and then you can just refill it all day long. And I still have the mugs from when we went like 8 years ago or something, and I was like, I should have thrown these out. Nah, we might go back someday, and now we're going to go back probably as vendors.
Nice.
And to be like, we're going to take our little mugs, go get our sodas.
How about do you do free samples or no samples?
I feel like I couldn't bring enough samples for a show that big.
Yeah.
I might throw something. I don't know. I might throw something in the bag, or take something that like I didn't bring to the show, and have little samples of that and throw it into the bag with them.
Yeah, my first couple of years, I brought free samples. I would put my samples in little glycine bags, and John would give out samples when people would order. And I had this huge basket of free samples that I would, but I just like after the second time, I'm like, people just come in here, they look around, they grab the samples, and they leave. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's
why I was like, no,
forget it,
free sample.
not happening.
I've heard people having little portable sinks.
I've seen that too.
Set up too.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yep.
that's kind of cool. I don't know that I'm going that far.
Except that then you get, mud. Because
In your
people are
sink?
not in the sink, but around the sink because they wash
Oh,
their hands
yeah,
and,
okay.
spillage and all that.
Good point.
What does the week before you go to a show look like? Well, Jesse, I know you've got it down to a science. So you have everything all together?
I'm certain I'm going to be panicking
Yeah.
and second guessing.
Yeah.
You'll panic for the first, 8. And then you'll
great.
have it down to a science.
Yeah.
So if I only do 2 shows a year, I'm screwed. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, then you'll be done in 2 years because your show is 4 shows, really.
That's true. I mean, my show is 4 days. Good Lord.
After the first few shows, you get it all down to a science where you bring in the same things. Your tables are the same.
Yeah.
Your setups are the same. I have little crates, just like you have totes. I have crates that this is only show stuff. And it gets tucked away in a corner of the garage that stays there until it's time for a show.
Yep.
Take it out. Let
You
me
just
clean
pick it
these. Yep.
I had to laugh. I told you guys I have a colleague who loves decorating and loves party playing and all this other stuff, and I hate all that crap. I'm terrible at it. And she's like, "Oh, it's so exciting! You get to set up a booth." And I was like, "Awesome! Whenever I start doing my mock-ups, you can come over and just can come over and adjust things for me."
Have you ever forgot something absolutely critical? I
Sanity?
forgot bags once, bags for people to put stuff in when they get a bunch of stuff, but that wasn't so bad.
Yeah, no. I mean, I've y'all know me. I'm pretty prepared. So.
Is there anything that we didn't? Anything we didn't cover?
Oh, I'm sure there's tons of stuff that we didn't cover. And in doing research, there are so many resources online with ideas, and really, you gotta make a booth that attracts attention. So
make a booth that attracts
levels, contrast, all kinds of things. If it's just flat stuff on a table, if your booth is overstuffed, that's
right. You got to find the balance between minimalist and, oh my goodness, there's a lot of crap in there. I don't even want to go in.
Looks like a rummage sale, and I don't want to.
Right.
But
it has to be visually interesting. Yeah.
There's so many ways to set up your tables. Like, there's this like the U setup, there's the Z setup, there's the blah 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 setup. So I think you just got to play with it, look online, look at ideas, and
jump into it.
I like to do a setup that invites people into my booth.
Right.
Like, I want people to come into my booth. And, I see a lot of them, they'll just set it, like, the table up at the front where people just come to the table. I'm like, I don't like that. I like people to feel like invited.
I do the U setup.
My booth.
Yeah.
Where, like, it's around the edges and in the back. So if you want to see what's on that table, you have to come all the way in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then John and I are kind of stationed on the side to, like, swoop in and, what do you need? Let me help you.
I do a L, and I have my shelf like in this corner over here, so people can just.
You look like a little talking mustache when you're doing. We've lost Jesse again.
Bunch of freaking nerds.
Listen. It's part of the magic of this is that we have such different personalities.
Yeah.
And yet we're all 12-year-old boys. Anyway.
It's a true story. All right, y'all. That's going to do it for today's episode of the Dirty Heifers Podcast. If you've ever done a market, or if you're thinking about doing one, or you're currently recovering from one, we see you. We support you, and we hope this episode made you feel a little less alone and maybe a little more prepared. As always, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you're subscribed wherever you're listening, leave us a review, and share this with your fellow small business besties, especially the ones who are still signing up for outdoor markets without checking the weather. And don't forget to check out today's sponsor, Country Lather Soapworks, and to show them some love for supporting the show. We'll be back next time with more stories, more opinions, and probably more chaos. Until then, stay dirty, heifers. All right, so let's end this out. Where did my...
It's so funny when I do it with my sleeves down like this, it looks like I have tiny hands.
Tiny hands. You need the little stick.
It's my real
little
hands.
stick.
It just looks like tiny hands.
We lost Shauna.
I think we've lost the plot tonight.
Yeah. And share this with your fellow small business besties. Share this with your besties.
Hang on. Mark that.
And share
This
this.
with your small business besties.
I mean, it fits.
And share this
Come
with
here,
your
Bessie. Come on, Margaret, give us a moo.
Moo.